I'm gonna bring you with me everywhere I go. You did a nice job. And I wanna thank Anjali for inviting me to be here as well. Anjali is one of my neighbors and reached out and said, you know, I'm starting this event, would you be willing to come and talk? And I said yes, because I really give her a ton of credit for taking the leadership role that she did and organizing something like this, because I know it's not easy, and especially when you're balancing school and all these other things, right? So credit to her, and I appreciate her asking me to join today. I will say the topic, when she said, what I want you to come and talk about is what is success, I was like, geez, well, this could be a really brief TED Talk. I don't know what the shortest TED Talk is, but you know, the challenge with the question, what is success, and Anjali of course hit on this, is that each of us individually defines it for ourselves. And I do think it changes over time. Your definition of success changes over time. And I'll give you a couple of examples in a minute that point to that. But ultimately, we each get to decide, we each get to choose what success means for us. And so, as I was thinking about talking today, I thought, well, probably the most important thing that I could do, especially for the students that are in the audience that still have, you know, life and maybe career ahead of them, would be to talk about a couple of the attributes that I think about as being really critical to success, irrespective of how you define it over the different time horizons. And the two things that I wanted to talk about are gratitude and positivity. And gratitude, when I think about it, is the ability to think through difficult things, to realize that you know, you have a lot to be thankful for. I certainly reflect on my life and think I have so much to be thankful for, that even in times of trouble, right, when you're facing some sort of adversity, you know you're going to come out on the other side. There's a level of positivity to my second attribute that I wanted to talk about, that you're able to kind of draw on from that sense of gratitude, of knowing that ultimately you've been incredibly blessed. And you're going to be able to navigate whatever that difficulty is, no matter what. And that brings me to the second point of positivity. Certainly a mindset that we all think about, right? But beyond a mindset, I think when you think about it in the context of success, it's also about seizing opportunities and leaning in and taking advantage of things, sometimes asking for an opportunity as well. And so when I reflect on my career, you know, if I had to answer what is success for myself, at least in this moment, I would probably characterize it in two ways. It's certainly, you know, raising a family and having great kids, and you know, those of us that are parents in the audience know that doesn't just happen automatically. We have to work really, really hard at it. There are some, you know, things that fight against success in that regard. And so that would be at the top of my list. Because, you know, producing humans that are capable of participating productively in society and helping to drive us forward is critical. But the second thing I would say is just from a career standpoint, of course. And I do think that over time, my definition of success changed. I can 1,000% guarantee you that when I was graduating from high school, like many of the students here are thinking about shortly, or as I was coming out of college as an accounting major, never did I think, well, success would be to be a chief operating officer. I didn't even know what a chief operating officer was, to be honest with you, right? But certainly as I reflect on my career and I think about the things that I've done and the opportunities that I've had, I reflect on it and feel success, right? Feel as though, you know, I've been able to accomplish some things that have mattered for me personally and have mattered in my job in terms of the communities that we serve and the people that we serve at Highmark. And so when I think about, you know, speaking about success as a healthcare leader, because I know, you know, one of the objectives here today was to bring different points of view from different industries, this idea of success changing over different points in time and the concepts of bringing gratitude and positivity are really relevant. And of course, the pandemic is fresh on our minds as we kind of navigate out of the final pieces of it. And we lived it very up close and personal in the healthcare arena, certainly at Allegheny Health Network. And there were days, I would say, where that time horizon about thinking about success was really, really short. You know, it was about, did we have enough open beds in the hospital that day? What did we have to do to make that happen? Did we have enough masks so that our healthcare workers were protected? A very short time horizon in thinking about what success was at that time. But we also saw the very greatest in terms of the power of positivity. We saw our healthcare workers, of course, going into the hospitals every day, dealing with what they were dealing with, and giving selflessly of themselves to the people that they were trying to serve. We saw our community members and our businesses in the community. We got Travis Williams here today, later going to talk from the Pirates. The Pirates were a huge partner with us at Highmark in terms of getting vaccinations to hundreds of thousands of people in this Western Pennsylvania community. And so success at that time was getting those vaccines out as quickly as we could to as many people as we could. And if you had the privilege of being there for the first 1 or 2 vaccination sessions that we had, you know, you saw people that were expressing gratitude in such a variety of ways. You know, it was so impactful for some people because it was a sign of hope for them. It was a sign of positivity, a sign that they were maybe going to be able to get back to whatever normal was in their life, right? And so in that time, success meant something very different. But over a different time horizon, if I think about moving beyond the pandemic, I go back and again draw on gratitude and positivity. And this idea that within positivity, you need to lean in, it means leaning in, it means asking at times. And I do think for the young folks in the audience, that's a very powerful point that I want you to remember and take with you, because it's going to matter as you progress in life. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask for the opportunity. Don't be afraid to offer an idea. Don't be afraid to lean in, because that will produce success for you, however you define it. Whether it's thinking about your career aspirations or your family aspirations or your fitness goals or a goal related to a talent that you have, lean in and go for it, because that will produce success. And so with that, I wanna just close by saying each of us gets to choose, you know, how we frame the thoughts around positivity and gratitude. We get to wake up each day and decide that it's going to be a mindset that we have. I have a plaque actually in our bedroom that says, "Today I choose happiness." And I think, you know, in that context, you can kind of substitute positivity for happiness. Today I choose positivity. Walk into whatever it is that you're looking to that day, whatever you're facing that day, with an attitude of positivity, with an attitude of gratitude, and a mindset of whatever it is that you face, you have the power to work through it. And with that, you will find success, however you choose to define it. So again, Anjali, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I probably didn't use the entire amount of time that maybe you wanted me to use or you allotted for me to use. But I thought I'd keep my message really short and sweet, because we each do get to decide what it means for us, and it's a very personal item. So thank you for inviting me to join you today, and I'll turn it back over for the next speaker.